new drama film that came out, I guess, a month or maybe 2 months ago. I can't remember the exact release date. It's a movie that I only recently got around to watching, though. It's directed by Michael Sarnowski. It stars Nicolas Cage and it stars Alex Wolff, and it's got a very simple premise, very simple setup for the story here. The story here is that Nicolas Cage plays a truffle hunter named Rob, who is very reclusive and asocial, and he lives out in the wilderness in the middle of nowhere in a cabin with a pig, and he loves this pig and he cares for it daily. One day, some people break into his cabin and they steal his pig, and so he teams up with Alex Wolff's character, whose name is Amir. He basically is willing to go all through Portland and Seattle and all around the state of Oregon in order to find this pig and return home with it. A man trying to get his pig back. That's really the story. By the way, Alex Wolff is in this movie, and I do want to point out that in my review of M. Night Shyamalan's Old, I accidentally called Alex Wolff Dev Patel for some reason, and I don't know why. I sometimes get those guys mixed up. So if anybody heard me say Dev Patel in that review, just, I really meant Alex Wolff. It's Alex Wolff in that movie. And if you could do me a favor, just go to the comment section of either that video or this video and just leave the word dumbass, and I'll understand why. As far as it relates to Pig, holy shit, what a movie. What a movie. This movie is so incredible and so surprising that I don't even know if calling it Pig even makes sense anymore. Like, this movie deserves something much bigger, much more profound than Pig.
They call me Mr. Pig!
For starters, this is masterful direction in a movie like this. This movie is an hour and a half. It does feel like it's an hour and a half, but then there are other times where it also feels like it's a slower, more deliberate and meditative type of film. Even though it's still taking its time to tell its story, you never feel like the movie is just sitting in place waiting for things to happen. Things are constantly progressing and moving scene to scene. This is an amazing looking movie with some great cinematography. Some of my favorite shots of the entire year reside in this film right here. There are so many scenes in this film that are painting a picture, that are telling a visual story. It's able to tell a compelling and beautiful story visually without having to rely on a scene being too big or too loud or too expressive or too colorful or whatever. Eggs on the tit, all of that, just lock it away. This movie should be up for best cinematography at the Oscars next year. Nicolas Cage, you know Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is an all-time great actor. He's a guy that has such incredible range. He's done so many movies. Like, I feel like everybody has a soft spot for Nicolas Cage at this point. And if you don't like Nicolas Cage or you don't have a soft spot for Nicolas Cage, just, you know, keep that shit to yourself, bro. That's embarrassing. I'm never surprised when Nicolas Cage gives a great performance, but considering the type of movie and the type of premise that this movie set itself up to be, this is a masterful performance from Nicolas Cage and one of the greatest performances of his entire career. His performance in this film is so understated and so reserved. There are some times where he feels like kind of a quieter version of a wild animal. As the movie goes on, you do find out a lot more about him and his performance and his character, and it makes so much more sense why he's acting the way that he's acting in the film. Alex Wolff also, there's a surprising level of depth to his character and to his performance as well. And if there's one thing that I will say that is my most favorite thing about this film, it's the fact that it's very layered despite the fact that it has such a simple concept. There is a surprising level of emotional depth that you can find in this story and within these characters that I definitely was not expecting going in. It would have been so easy to turn this film into like one of those John Wick with pigs type of movies. Like, come on, be honest, you definitely would watch a Nicolas Cage movie where his pig gets kidnapped and it's like, ah, you fucked with the wrong pig, and then he goes off and kills a bunch of people to get his pig back. That's not what's going on in this movie. Like I said, it's much more deliberate and quiet, meditative. There's a lot more thought-provoking type of substance going on in this movie than you would initially think. Even though the movie is about like finding a pig, it's not necessarily all about just finding a pig. There's other things within the subtext of this movie emotionally that just really gets its hooks into you and doesn't really let go. It's one of those films where there is certain dialogue and certain scenes that I'm gonna be thinking about for the rest of the year. Most importantly, if there's nothing else for this movie and if you don't care about anything else in this movie, see it for Nicolas Cage, because Nicolas Cage blew me away, and I think that he is going to blow everyone away with his performance in this one. This is absolutely a Best Actor nominee type of performance. For some people, I don't know, they're just not going to be that invested in a story that revolves around a pig. I don't know why, but that's just That's just what it is. I do feel like maybe somebody could try to argue that if it weren't for Nicolas Cage's performance, that this film wouldn't be nearly as captivating or as interesting. And I don't think that's a problem. But some people might say if it isn't for Nicolas Cage's performance, there's not much here to get invested in. Pig is one of the most surprising emotional films of the year. I had a blast watching it. This one deserves my highest rating on this channel, Superman Prime. What did you think about the film? Give me your favorite Nicolas Cage performance of all time. It doesn't have to be your favorite Nicolas Cage movie. Give me your favorite Nicolas Cage performance. Put that in the comment section down below. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and if you like what you see, tell me how you feel. Stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.